Alright, here we are on part 2. We're going to do one other kind of problem today, and we're going to go back to our golfing example where the normal curve had a mean of 304 and a standard deviation of 8, and there's a quick sketch of it again. What we're doing this time is we're going to find the percent of the golf drives that are at least 290 yards. And wait a minute, 290? Do I have that right? There's no 290 on that chart. How can we do it? So 290, here's 296, and here's 288, so maybe somewhere about right there is 290, and we want all the golf drives that were larger than that in yardage. So how do we do that when it doesn't exist as one of our exact numbers here? So what we do is we standardize. Alright, hopefully you were going to guess that because that's exactly what we do. So we're going to standardize that by taking, sorry about that. We're going to take each value on that chart and subtract the mean and divide by the standard deviation. And the one we're very interested in is the 290. So I'm taking the 290, subtracting the mean of 304, divided by 8, and I get a z-score of negative 1.75. Whereas I couldn't deal with the 290, I can deal with the negative 1.75, and if I graph it, it's about right there, negative 1.75, and I'm interested in this area, but the chart's going to give me this area. Always the chart gives you below the given score, and then we'll just deal. So when I go to chart A and I find negative 1.75, I see it corresponds to 0.0401, which is 4%. So verify that for yourself. And then, as I said, we don't want the part below, like the chart gave us 4%, so we'll subtract from 100% to get the final answer of 96. And our chart up there looks like that would be about 96%. So we are peachy keen happy. Alright. The last thing we did in class was figure out how to do all this on the calculator. So we made up an example, and this example is the normal curve has a mean of 10 and a standard deviation of 1.7. Find the area greater than or equal to 12. So, first of all, you have to mess with the window. And I gave the directions for any window, and specifically for the window that we're dealing with. Find the button called window, and you'll be asked to put in all these values. X min will always be whatever the mean is minus 3 standard deviations. So in our problem, the mean is, whoops, the mean is not 304. I switched problems. That was from the golf problem. So let me switch it. So the mean is 10, and we're going to always do whatever the mean is minus 3 standard deviations, because that will give us about 99.7 of the graph, and that will do. And then we'll do the mean plus 3 standard deviations for x max. So, and you don't have to actually type the number out. You can just put it in under x min 10 minus 3 times 1.7, and when you scroll down to the next one, it'll calculate that for you. And then 10 plus 3 times 1.7. X scale, it works really nicely if you give the scale to actually be what your standard deviation is. And in this chart, or in this problem, it's 1.7. Y min is always negative 0.3. That will just give a little space for the calculator to give us the answer, because we're looking for the area, and that will give us space to read the answer. Y max, if you look at the chart here, we want to know this value way up here. And how do we know that? Well, there's a function on the calculator that will get us that number, and that would do find for Y max. To find that function, you hit second bars. bars is a button on your calculator. Second, bars will get you to a menu, and on that menu you pick NPDF, and after that you tell it the mean again, and the standard deviation. We had different screens to work with. I'm not sure what yours looks like, but figure out how to feed in the information, the mean, which in our case is 10, and then the mean again, 10, and the standard deviation 1.7. That will make the calculator tell us the highest point for the Y max. So, going down the last value, Y scale is 0.1. Now some of us had an additional values that were asked, and I was unfamiliar with them, so hopefully we can come up with values to put in there, or leave the value that's set in the screen already. So if you have extra values, try putting a 1 in and we'll see what it means. Go back to the home screen. Your window values are in. They're going to hold there until you change them. So go back to the home screen, which is blank, and go back to second bars, and instead of the I want you to go over to draw, and when you hit draw you will choose something called shade norm. After the shade norm, or in the screen that requests information on shade norm, you're going to give it where is the lowest number you want shaded, what's the highest number you want shaded, and of course the mean and the standard deviation. Alright, so in our case, the lowest number we want shaded, remember the problem up here, we wanted to find the area greater than or equal to 12. So if we were going to practice sketching it, if the mean was 10, and we want everything greater than or equal to 12, it would shade like this. So to tell our calculator that, we have to tell it to start its shading at 12, and that's different for every problem. So after we have shade norm, give it the 12. Then where do we want it to stop shading? Well, in our problem, the shading will go forever down the tail of this normal curve. So the upper limit, we're going to give it the largest number the calculator knows. It doesn't know about infinity. So we're going to give it 1E99. And you remember that double E from physics class. So that means 1 times 10 to the 99, very large number. And then the mean and the standard deviation. When you hit enter, you should get a nice normal curve with the area shaded in, and the calculator should tell you what that area is, and it should be 0.1197 and a few other decimals. Alright, that's all we learned, and our homework is the rest of the day 4 problems that, and if you need, I don't have that paper in front of me right this minute, but I will type that out in the email that I send when this video is uploaded. So it's the day 4 problems. I think there were 4 problems for that, and that is where we end it. So we hope that you absentees get better quickly and get back with us. Hope this helps you catch up. Bye.